they're ready for whatever comes because I've already given them the heads up. So that decreases their level of stress. And they feel like, okay, Ketia gave me that as a possibility. And so I don't have to freak out. I can be as calm as possible because she already prepared me for what ifs. And so, yeah.
Welcome to the Dream Home Podcast, the show where real estate meets real talk. Hosted by John Nagle, a seasoned expert with over $7 billion in real estate financing experience. This podcast features top realtors, builders, and financial pros. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, we've got the tools to help you make smarter moves. Here's your host, John Nagle.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Dream Home Podcast, the show where we explore the people, communities, and tools that help make homeownership dreams a reality. I'm your host, John Nagle from CMG Home Loans. Today, I'm thrilled to welcome Dr. Ketia Cayo, an award-winning realtor with Coldwell Banker Realty in Central Florida. Not only is she a top-producing agent specializing in buyers, sellers, new construction, and relocations, but she's also a notary public, loan signing agent, real estate coach, and mentor. With a doctorate in physical therapy from Florida A&M University, the title of Mrs. Ocoee 2018, and a passion for empowering her community, Ketia's mission is all about helping families build their legacy through home ownership. She is also a wife, a mother of two, a relationship coach alongside her husband, and an Amazon best-selling author living the life she created for herself. We're diving into everything from first-time buyer tips to overcoming market challenges, plus some inspiring stories you won't want to miss. Ketia, welcome to the show. We appreciate your taking time to join us today.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Great. Awesome. So Ketia, let's start with your superpowers. What makes you stand out from other agents in the Central Florida market?
I would say what helps me to stand out is coming from a medical background and not a sales background. I have the ability to educate my clients, like thoroughly educate them. It's one of those things where when you have the mindset of looking at each client as an individual, because that's what I had to do in the medical field, I had to look at my patients as an individual person. And no matter who else has the same condition as them, I had to treat them as though no one else had that condition. And so that's my superpower when it comes to how I deal with my real estate clients. No client is the same. Every situation is going to be different. Every credit profile will be different. And I try to be intentional with making sure that they're informed about the process before they even sign a single document.
Yeah, that's perfect. Gets them kind of on a comfort level because it certainly is an intimidating process, especially for the first-time home buyer.
Absolutely. And they just need to feel like someone is going to help them navigate through the problems that can come up.
Absolutely. I agree. So what's the number one thing clients come to you for help with?
Typically, it is they want to purchase a home and they don't know where to start. They have no clue. They've never purchased a home. I have a high clientele of first-time home buyers. I have clients who are relocating from other states. And so they just want to know they have a trusted expert in the area that they want to move to. And how do they get started? What do they need to, navigate through the journey? And so that's what I'm able to provide for them.
Okay. And I know you're an Amazon best-selling author, but if you were to write a book about your career, what would the title be?
I would say Navigating the Real Estate Maze, A Guide to Success. And I would say that because real estate is very challenging, okay, from a realtor standpoint, but also from a client standpoint. There's so much to know, so much to learn, and you're never going to know it all. So to me, it is a maze. You have to take each issue, each challenge as it comes, and just navigate through it to get to the end result. And that's succeeding in whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. If it's buying, if it's selling, if it's buying your first investment property or a vacation home. And so, yeah, that's what I would call that book.
Okay. Well, I would buy that book. That is for sure. Love it.
Awesome.
So buying or selling a house can feel overwhelming. How do you help clients through stressful moments?
So, one of the things I pride myself in is making it as stress free or as little stress as possible. Buying a property is one of the biggest investments you'll ever make. And so it comes with stress no matter what. And so I pride myself in, helping them to know as much as possible on the front end. So when I do a buyer's consultation or a listing presentation, which will include me talking through the process, I give as much information about even worst case scenarios, right? And so let's say we happen to, let's say it's a buyer who, doesn't know that the market is going to be more competitive because right now it's not that competitive, right? And so if I tell them up front, hey, if the interest rates decrease, there's a likelihood that there's going to be a lot more competition. And if that's the case, our strategy with our offers have to change. Now, let's say that happens. They've had the heads up. They're not taken by surprise. And so they're ready for whatever comes because I've already given them the heads up. So that decreases their level of stress. And they feel like, okay, Ketia gave me that as a possibility. And so I don't have to freak out. I can be as calm as possible because she already prepared me for what ifs. And so, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point. It is a great time to buy for that exact reason, is when rates start to go back down again. As we know from experience, all of a sudden you're getting multiple offers. You're sometimes paying more than the asking price.
Absolutely.
And, with our program, our 5-year rate rebound, it's called, we will refinance for no lender costs for that buyer for the next 5 years.
That.
So we get that price today without having to be in such a competitive market and still are protected for that interest rate in the future. So I think that's a great point, that we are in a great time to be purchasing right now.
Absolutely.
So can you share a time when you helped a client overcome a major obstacle?
Yeah, I would say I have a number of those, but one that I can think of off the top of my head, I had a nurse client that I was working with. And so the challenge, it was a few challenges in her transaction, but it started with the fact that she was married, but she had the stronger credit score and her husband did not. And so we were able to help her to get pre-approved on her credit profile alone and her income alone. And so when it came to us preparing to purchase, of course, she was nervous about, okay, well, will I have the funds, right, to even purchase this home? And at the time, we were able to get her to get into the Hometown Heroes program. And because of that program, she was able to get, I want to say it was like $18,000 from the program. But not only that, right, we were able to put an offer on the property. It was a 4-bedroom, 2-bath home where we offered like $10,000 under the asking price. And we asked for $12,000 towards her closing costs. Okay. And that was all accepted, right? But once we got through appraisal, the home appraised for another $15,000 under what we had offered and negotiated. And so it really came out so good for her to be able to purchase. And when she purchased the house, after her escrow, she put down $3,500 for her escrow. With all the down payment assistance, all the price drops, she ended up only paying, and this is crazy when I say this, 1 penny at the closing table.
Wow. What an
1 penny.
Wow.
And so that was like one of my stories that just bring me so much joy because, we really tried to work out so that she didn't have to wire a penny, because that was like $20 to wire a penny. And so that was a very rewarding experience for me.
Well, we love taking care of our military service members, and they definitely deserve everything that we can do to help them. And that is an incredible story. I love that.
Thank you.
So what habits or systems help you stay so effective in helping your clients?
One of the things that I've really picked up on early on, because I was always working my physical therapy job as well as real estate, To me, both were full time, right? Because I don't really think you can be part time in real estate, at least not be successful being part time. And so I utilize not only a planner, but transaction coordinators. And so I paid for a transaction coordinator probably my second year into real estate because I realized I'm not going to be able to keep up with everything if I just rely on my own memory, my own ability to keep up with all the paperwork. And that has helped me all the way through all this time that I've been in real estate. And I still believe in it. I still recommend it to all of my new agents that I'm mentoring that, listen, it's an investment that's worth every penny, every dollar. And that's helped me to really stay on top of everything. And they keep my clients understanding what's happening next. Like, what's the next step? Okay, we completed our inspection. The next phase is, getting your insurance and, appraisal. So that's been very helpful to keep me on top of everything.
Okay. Sounds like a good solution and allowed you to literally work 2 full-time jobs and still be successful in real estate. As you mentioned, it's very difficult to do if you're not full-time.
Absolutely.
So I love this part of the show. Tell us about a truly awesome or memorable experience you've had helping a client.
One of my clients, it was a relocation client from New York. They happened to be one of my Haitian clients, and the husband primarily spoke Creole. And so I'm fluent in Creole, and they were not able to come down to see the home. So when we went home searching, I was the one seeing all the properties, and I called them on video, and they toured the homes with me on FaceTime. And
Wow.
So that's how they see all the properties. And when it came down to the one that they loved in East Orlando, we were able to put in an offer. And we got the offer accepted. We were able to negotiate. I think that one was probably about $7,000 to $8,000 towards their closing costs. And this one was also a 4-bedroom, 2-bath home because it's a family, husband, wife, and 2 or 3 kids. And when we got to the appraisal time, the wife was able to come down, not even the husband. And the wife came down because she was searching for a job and applying. And so we were able, once she saw the home, she was like, okay, this was totally the best decision. And she was just so happy. And that just, made them feel even more comfortable in my skill and my ability because I was able to do all of that with them all the way in New York. And, now they've been there just a year, just a little over a year now. And they love the home and they're just thriving here in Central Florida.
That's awesome. I love that. So what's your vision for your legacy in real estate?
I want to continue to empower individuals to jump into homeownership. There's a lot of hesitation, even now, especially now, right, to purchase. And I can truly say that, there are circumstances where life happens that people, have to maybe stop owning and go back to renting. But I would probably say 95%, maybe 90% to 95% of the time, you will not go wrong purchasing a property, purchasing your first property specifically, right? And it's an investment. It's an investment in yourself. It's an investment in what, a lot of us call the American dream, right? Everybody wants to own something. And it gives you leverage for wherever you want to go. If you want to eventually purchase, a vacation property or Airbnb, whatever it is, that's where you start. And you won't regret starting when you did. It's just, hey, what's the best time for me to jump into a market?
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more on that. That is for sure. Real estate's a great investment. So what keeps you inspired and motivated in such a competitive industry?
For me, I would probably say, the fact that I get to serve in this capacity, I have a heart to help people. That's why I became a physical therapist. And, oftentimes people will ask me, which one do you love more, Ketia? And I'm like, I actually love them both the same because I'm a servant leader. I love to serve. I serve at my local church. I serve in different organizations, nonprofit organizations. I just love being a resource to people in whatever capacity I can within my means, right? And when I get to see a person, smile and is just ecstatic about getting new keys and having a new address, and they never imagined it for themselves or they didn't see it coming when it did, it just brings me so much joy, and it helps me to feel that I'm truly working in my purpose.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, Ketia, what resources or tools do you use that really elevate the experience for your clients?
I like my consultations. So when it comes to how intentional I am, my buyer's consultations include a buyer's guide that helps them to have a tangible document that shows them the process from start to finish, right?
Mhm.
And when we go through it together, typically it's on Zoom. Sometimes people meet me in person at my office on Sand Lake. And we go through it and they can ask questions, they can take notes, and they feel like, okay, like if they come back with, hey, I remember you talked about, the appraisal can cost about $475. Is it ever a lesser amount? Like I can tell them because they have it in their hands. They can talk to me, talk through whatever questions they have. And they feel like, okay, like the rapport has been built. I can trust this person. Real estate can be one of those industries where people aren't as trusting. And so my goal is to build the trust and help people to feel that people aren't trying to get over on you. They're not trying to get you into a bad deal. Okay. Some people may, but that's not what we're doing here. And so I want them to feel as comfortable as possible before, again, they sign any paperwork. Because now we have more paperwork to sign after last year. And so it's a lot of conversations about commissions and things like that. And so being forthcoming with information during those consultations, my listing presentation really helps to ease people. And so that is one of my go-tos that helps me to take my experience to the next level.
Okay, that's awesome. So speaking of go-tos, what are some of your go-to tips for buyers to get their offers accepted, especially in a competitive market?
Oh, yes. So one of my first things I tell people is you have to speak to a lender. Okay. Like we have to get you pre-approved. Don't just jump into, Zillow and Realtor.com and looking at all these various priced homes and you don't know what your buying power is. You don't know what you can afford. And so I always let people know, let's get you to a lender. Let's see where you're at today, right? And if right now is not the best time for you to purchase, me and my partners, because typically my lenders, we're a team, right? And so we'll walk you through, we'll help you if it's working on your credit, if it's, suggesting that, hey, maybe you need to find a higher paying job, right? Like if it's a field that you can transition or ask for a raise, right? Like let's do some things to get you buying ready and then have that pre-approval in hand so that if the market is competitive, you already have that. You don't want to, see a home you love and there's other people who want that home and you don't have your pre-approval ready because you're not going to get it. And so we want to make sure that you're ready for the offer that you're going to put on a home so that you can potentially get the dream home that you are desiring.
Yes, absolutely. And are there any special programs or incentives you recommend for first-time home buyers or sellers?
Yeah, one of the ones that I really enjoyed seeing a number of people get into more recently, it is a newer program. I mentioned it earlier with the nurse that I helped, was the Hometown Heroes program. That was a state program that was originally for healthcare professionals, our fire professionals, police officers, and then eventually they opened it up to all professions. And so that one, I got to see a number of people be able to purchase their first property through that program. You also have your county down payment assistance. You have your city down payment assistance programs. And then you have new construction as an option. They're giving awesome incentives. I mean, from 15 to 20,000. I've even had clients who maybe they didn't get approved by the new construction builder, and the builder allowed me to use my preferred lender and I work with a few lenders. So, and they were still able to purchase using an outside lender, which some people don't know that that's still an option. And we were able to negotiate them still getting the incentive.
Yeah, and that's definitely a popular thing now. And we work with hundreds of builders over the country. And that's a great example where sometimes you can't get through that process with the in-house builder program. And then we're here to step in to help those deals happen for the buyers. So walk us through what a client can expect when they work with you from that first conversation to closing day.
What they can expect is, one, the first meeting, I want to build rapport. I want to get to know you a little bit as, what are your goals? Do you have children? Are you married? Like where you are. And then I share some of my story, right? Like I'll share that I have, kids. I share that, I purchased my home at a time where I didn't expect to purchase, but the opportunity presented itself and I jumped in and I don't regret it at all. Right. That was in 2016. And so, I love sharing, just, sharing so that they see that I'm a real person. Right. And I'm not just a salesperson trying to make a deal. And then, talk through the process. They'll understand what they're about to get into. I try to prepare them again for the what ifs. And then we navigate through, hey, getting that pre-approval. Like I'll have preferred lenders like you, John, and other lenders where you can, know that it's a team package. And typically I work with people who are similar to me. Like they're wanting to give you the information. You're not just a number, right? You're a person, you're a human being, and we care about you and your success. And your success is our success. And then from there, just going through searching for their home, we're shopping around. People have the internet at their fingertips. So I make sure they know, listen, if there's a home you see that I didn't send you, send it to me, right? Let me do the research, make sure it's a legitimate home because there are scams out there. And then from there, sometimes it's the client who sent me a home that they loved. Maybe they didn't give me the full criteria that they were open to, right? And so it didn't come up on my list, but we work together. It's a team, right? And then from there, we get you to the closing table, do all the things we need to do to make sure that you can get that final approval and you get the clear to close. All realtors and lenders' favorite words, clear to close, okay? And then even post, I'm checking on you, making sure that if there's vendors that you need, maybe you need your keys, your key re-locked, right? Your key redone, then let's do that. Like I have people who can come and help you with that. And again, I work with vendors who are, solid companies, they're legitimate companies, and we want to just make sure that you're pleased with all the services that you received working with me.
Yeah, that's an awesome point. It really is a team. It's a village effort, and you give that client the best opportunity to get into that home by having all your team working together, pulling in the same direction. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
So what do your clients say it's like to work with you and your team?
Typically, I hear people say, I can't even believe I'm here, right? They're usually surprised that they made it. And oftentimes they made it as quickly. I didn't realize how many people thought buying a home can take 3 months or 6 months. Oftentimes I've been able to get someone from start to finish in literally 30 days. There's been a few that was even less than that. Okay. And it doesn't have to take a long time, but even more, I love hearing how they felt that I was patient with them, that I walked the journey with them, and they felt like they always had someone in their corner, right? Keeping them in the loop. They love my level of communication. I really am intentional to keep them updated every step of the way. Even my referral partners, right? They've shared similar sentiments that they love that after every milestone, I'm reaching out to them to let them know, hey, I appreciate you sending this referral to me. We have, gotten pre-approved, or, okay, now we're under contract. And so that communication is so key. And they just love that I, show that I care about them, like as individuals. Like I'm asking them, how are the kids doing? Were you able to find a summer program, right, in this new area that you're living in? And so, yeah, that's what I often hear from my clients.
Okay. And if someone's unsure about reaching out, what would you say to them?
I would say it never hurts to have a conversation. It's so important for you to know as much as you can before you start the process, right? Because you never know if now is the time until you ask. And so I would say reach out, have the conversation. It's free, okay? It doesn't cost you anything, but it's so valuable that okay, this is what the first step is, or this is what I can look to, or just knowing what the market currently is. Since I've been in real estate since 2016, the market has changed, I promise you, at least 5 times, right? And so I've seen a number of markets, and each market, you have to navigate it different. And so, having that conversation, starting to get your ducks in a row, knowing where you stand, with your credit, definitely keep up. There's some people who literally are afraid to look at their credit score, or they think that they will cause their score to drop by, pulling it up. And it's like, no, that's not true. You can do one of the free credit reports, and it doesn't impact your credit in any capacity. At least know where you stand. The lender is going to have more details when we do a pre-approval or pull, either a soft pull or hard pull. But either way, just have the conversation.
Absolutely. So, Ketia, thank you so much for sharing your heart, expertise, and stories today. For anyone listening who's thinking about buying, selling, or investing in Central Florida, Ketia Cayo is someone you want in your corner. To connect with Ketia, check out the links in the show notes or visit ketiacayo.com. And if you're looking to be pre-approved for a mortgage or just want to explore your options, head over to dreamhomepodcast.com or contact me directly at CMG Home Loans. We're here to make your journey smooth and stress-free. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share this podcast with a friend. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time on the Dream Home Podcast. And Ketia, thank you so much. It's been a great episode, and we appreciate you taking time to share your amazing journey with us.
Thank you so much. I'm super excited about this opportunity.
Thanks for listening to the Dream Home Podcast, hosted by John Nagle. Ready to take the next step toward your dream home? Visit www.dreamhomepodcast.com for resources, tips, and expert advice. If you enjoyed today's episode, subscribe, leave a review, and join us next time for more real estate insights and mortgage tips. Until then, happy home hunting.